Let's head across to Neeraj to find out how exactly the closing is panning out. Neeraj, it's a cut, but a better picture than what one saw today while the markets opened.
You know, when we go to the wall, Navneet, after your mid-cap check is done, I want to zoom in on the last 1 hour, 1.5 hours of the Nifty bank. Boy, has it been volatile. From being in the green to being down about 1.5% to now closing about, well, 0.75% in the red. I think the Nifty bank has done remarkably well for itself in the day. No alarm bells there. The Nifty and the Sensex about 1.25%. So it's been par for the course if you look at the headline numbers, but it just hides the volatility that we've had today. The mid caps and the small caps too. The small cap index not really recovering too much. It was down 5%, yes, so down about 3%. There's a bit of a recovery, but still the mid cap index about 1.5%. Again, you probably take this with both hands if you had seen the picture at the start of the trading day today. Now let's look at specific names. Not too much of green, I'm afraid, so very little out there. Tata Steel, Axis Bank, and there's a Bajaj Finance in the Nifty, not a part of the Sensex, so you won't see in the list here, but Bajaj Finance is probably that one large cap which has done well. But then the losers, Tata Motors, DVR, and then the IT names, TCS, Infosys, HCL Tech. In between that, Kotak Mahindra Bank and Hero MotoCorp. The list is long, the list is large. You'll probably be thanking your stars that Reliance and ICICI Bank haven't really participated with full gusto. Otherwise, it would have been a terrible close, though they did start off lower. And which is why you're seeing ICICI Bank and Reliance in this list out here at the bottom of this whole list of losers. But Navneet, if large caps kind of showed a bit of recovery, the market breadth has not improved too much for the mid cap and the small cap space.
That's right, Neeraj. In fact, the volatility is also closing with gains of somewhere between 25 to 26%, and we've not seen that in the recent past. But talking about the broader markets, let me start off with the gainers first. Jamna Auto, what stellar run-up was seen in the second half of the session, as the intraday chart will tell you. Remember, yesterday as well, the stock was up nearly 8%. So strong gains coming up for Jamna Auto. There was some buying seen at lower levels. Bhushan Steel was quite active throughout the day today. That counter too had a good run-up, finally closing the day with gains of almost 15%. While the markets were in red, there was one stock which was bucking the trend. In fact, two of them, Oil India and Mindtree, these two saw some good recovery from the lower levels. So there was buying emerging for these counters. Oil India closing with gains of 4%, almost at day's high levels. Mindtree also closing the day with gains of nearly 2%. And two stocks which have been in focus not today but throughout the last week as well, PC Jewellers and Vakrangi. PC Jewellers today fell by nearly 8%, and that was one of your top F&O loser for the day as well. And Vakrangi, fifth straight day of lower circuit for this counter, down almost 10%. CEAT came up with its numbers on Friday and the stock fell nearly 11%. So today was the third straight day when there was a sharp fall seen for CEAT, down almost 7%. Jain Irrigation, that's been in focus because of the F&O ban going in and coming out. Let's see whether it goes into the ban period again or not for tomorrow's session. But for the day, it was down 6%. And lastly, I want to highlight Raymond as well, a counter which has been doing pretty well in the last few months. But there is some bit of profit booking which has come in this counter. And today, it fell by nearly 4.5%, Neeraj.
Yeah, and now the picture at close. I just want to bring up the Nifty bank chart that we were talking about and look at the volatility in the last 1 hour of trade. If you would have zoomed in, and this is a short period chart, we would have seen there, we hit the green, then came off, then again climbed back, and in between the jagged edges, all of this in a span of 1.5 hours just shows you how volatile the Nifty bank was in the session today. I want to bring up the volumes picture. The market breadth is known, it was terrible, but the volume should come up on your screen. Just interested in seeing what the cash volumes have been. Actually, it's been par for the course. Maybe the F&O volumes a lot higher. This is typically what we do on a weekly expiry day. So the F&O volumes have been high today, Navneet. Cash market volumes par for the course, but a lot of trading on the F&O side.
Yes, there was. In fact, we did see some build-up coming about, especially for Bank Nifty futures. Neeraj, you were highlighting that. Tomorrow being the monetary policy, there was more action which was seen on the banking side as well. And yesterday towards the closing, we were talking about the market internals, and FI sold yesterday. I just want to highlight, we've seen selling coming for stocks like HDFC Bank, which are heavily owned by FI. So I don't know if there is some sort of profit booking or some sort of shift in portfolio which is coming from their side into these large cap stocks.
So it's been, well, an eventful day of trade. We've dissected it long enough, but promises to be an eventful day maybe tomorrow as well. One, with what the global markets are doing, two, with what the RBI will declare in the policy.